don't know why, I don't know how. Thought I loved you, but I'm not sure now. Seen you look at strangers too many times. The love you want is of a different kind. Remember when we felt the sun, a love like paradise, how hot it burned. Threat of distant thunder, the sky was red. And when you want, you always turn every head. All day, watch them all fall down. All day, domino dancing. All day, watch them all fall down. All day, domino dancing. Thought that when we fought, I was to blame. Now I know you play a different game. I've watched you dance with danger, still wanting more. Add another number to the score. All day, watch them all fall down. All day, domino dancing. All day, watch them all fall down. All day, domino dancing. When you look around, you wonder, do you play to win, or are you just a bad loser? Don't know why, I don't know how. Thought I loved you, but I'm not sure now. I hear the thunder crashing, the sky is dark, and now a storm is breaking within my heart. All day, watch them all fall down. All day, domino dancing. All day, watch them all fall down. All day, domino dancing. All day, watch them all fall down. All day, domino dancing. All day, watch them all fall down. All day, domino dancing. All day, watch them all fall down. All day, domino dancing. All day, watch them all fall down. All day. Sometimes you're better off dead. There's a gun in your hand that's pointing at your head. You think you're mad, too unstable, kicking in chairs and knocking down tables in a restaurant in a West End town. Call the police, there's a madman around, running down underground to a dive bar in a West End town. In a West End town, a dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls. In a West End town, a dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls. West End girls. phones, whispering voices, faces on posters, too many choices. If, when, why, what, how much have you got? Have you got it, do you get it? If so, how often? Which do you choose, a hard or soft option? In a western town, a dead end world, the eastern boys and western girls. In a western town, a dead end world, the eastern boys and western girls. suburban spell. Let's take a ride and run with the dogs tonight in suburbia. You can't hide, run with the dogs tonight in suburbia. Break a window by the town hall, listen a siren screams. There in the distance, like a roll call of all the suburban dreams. Let's take a ride and run with the dogs tonight in suburbia. You can hide, run with the dogs tonight in suburbia. I only wanted something else to do but hang around. I only wanted something else to do but hang around. It's on the front page of the papers. This is the hour of need. Where's the policeman when you need one to blame the color TV? Let's take a ride and run with the dogs tonight in suburbia. You can hide, run with the dogs tonight in suburbia, in suburbia, in suburbia. Run with the dogs tonight. true. You looked right into those blue eyes and knew it was love. And now you can't pretend you've forgotten all the promises of that first friend. It's bad enough. She knows how you feel, but she's not prepared to share you with a memory. So ask yourself now, can you forgive her if she begs you to? Ask yourself, can you even deliver what she demands of you? Ask yourself now, can you forgive her if she begs you to? Ask yourself, can you even deliver what she demands of you? Or do you want revenge? That's childish, so childish. Go to work and take your calls. Hang the fruits of your labor on the wall. Such precision and care. What does it matter if there's no one here to share? The flowers in the garden, the wine, the waiting for Godot, and so much modern time. All I want is what you want. I'm always waiting for a red letter day. Your heart's perfecting a stance of measured cool fading to insignificance. The moment one starts to understand what on earth does it profit a man? All I want is what you want. I'm always waiting for the red letter day, for something special, somehow new, someone saying I love you. Baby, I'm waiting for that red letter day. You can sneer or disappear behind the veneer of self-control. But for all those who don't fit in, who follow their instincts and are told they sin, this is a prayer for a different way. All I want is what you want. I'm always waiting for a red letter day. Like Christmas morning when you're a kid, admit you love me and you always did. Baby, I'm waiting for that red letter day. Blue smoking, 'cause it's fatal. So whose matches are those? Tell me why don't we try not to break our hearts and make it so hard for ourselves? We make it so hard. Tell me why don't we try not to break our hearts and make it so hard? Tell me why don't we try not to break our hearts and make it so hard for ourselves? Not to break our hearts and make it so hard for ourselves. We make it so hard for ourselves. We make it so hard. So hard. We make it so hard. Beats. Heartbeats. Every time